Using Facebook Reels to explode your Facebook system. So the cool part about this entire feature is we can leverage this ASAP and get an unfair advantage, because we can start leveraging this to blow up our organic Facebook systems extremely quickly, very fast. The amount of reach that I've been getting on these is insane. I started posting TikToks and I've never had a video go very rarely over 100K. With Facebook Reels, almost every fourth video is 100,000 plus, 700,000, a million views. The reach on these things are insane right now. Opening up a completely different dynamic to growing your Facebook system. Up until right now, the only way to grow your audience on Facebook is either using external traffic, using TikTok, YouTube, some type of other platform to grow your profile. But now you can post these reels and it will pull that audience to you. People are going to follow your profile. You're going to get engagement on your actual profile posts. You can get group members, and it's less intensive on your part, right? You post a piece of content, they come to you, they're following you, they're consuming your content. You're not having to go into other groups. You're not having to add all these friends. And yeah, so it also gives you the ability to reach a completely different audience. So that's a very common thing in our space, especially if you're in the make money online space. We're all in the same industry. We're in the same niche. We're playing in a lot of the same pools. These reels are reaching a completely different demographic, which has two sides of the spectrum to it. It's good and bad, but it's allowing you to get into pockets of places and pools and audiences that nobody else is playing in. You are the only person on their feed talking about this type of stuff, which is very beneficial for you, but you also need to take that into account when it comes to like selling and promoting, which I will talk more about later. So this is how to post them. To be honest, I couldn't figure out how to screencast my phone by computer. Otherwise, I would show you guys on my phone. You can't post them from the computer. I've never even been able to see them from my computer, except for when I've posted them and someone comments. That's the only time I've ever been able to find a reel on my computer or my desktop. So there, it shows up in two places, right above your stories. And then if you hit the hamburger menu, there should be an option right there. I'm pretty sure I've seen most of you guys post reels already, so you already know how to do that. But if you're already creating TikToks, it's a great way to get an additional place of exposure for what you're already doing. So I was telling Colleen this, and we just got off a call. If you've created TikToks, I would literally go through your entire TikTok, download all your videos, and just smash them onto Facebook Reels right now. Get as many as you can. The first day that Facebook's Reels launched, I think I uploaded 150 videos back to back. No breaks. It wasn't like I was waiting a couple minutes before. I was literally just posting as many as I could. So I would recommend doing that. You probably already have tons of pieces of content, especially if you've been creating content for a long time on TikTok. You have a bunch of pieces of content that you can start just putting onto Facebook right now. There's no waiting. You just get it out there. So do that. So anyone that doesn't know how to download TikToks, you can get the app, snaptik.app. If you're on iPhone, I'm pretty sure you have to use the browser. I've heard that anyways. I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know for sure. That's what I've heard. As of right now, the lowest number of views that I'm getting on any video is like 3,000, which for me, that's a lot. On TikTok, I don't get that type of reach. I get maybe a couple hundred views, a couple thousand views at best, but it's like the polar opposite. And it's the same piece of content, same type of content, not same type of, it's the same exact video on Facebook. It's literally the same exact video. One's getting 2,000 views on TikTok. The other one's getting 1.1 million views on Facebook. There's a ton of reach right now. So before posting on Reels, make sure you're posting directly from your Facebook profile. The reason that I'm mentioning this is because you can cross post. You can post from Instagram and they can recommend them on the Facebook Reels. But if you do that, if someone wants to follow you or they want to learn more about your content, it's going to take them back to Instagram. Versus if you're posting them directly from your Facebook profile and they click on your profile picture, it's going to take them to your profile. It's going to take them to that lead generation post you just put out, that story post, the piece of content that you wrote. That's what it's going to take them to. It's not going to take them to an Instagram. Definitely recommend posting from Facebook, especially for us. We're leveraging Facebook to grow our businesses, grow our brands. Secondly, make sure you have the follow button activated on your profile. You can go into settings and you can make sure you activate the actual follow button on your profile. So that way people can follow you automatically. They're going to start seeing when you post more reels. They're going to start seeing when you post actual pieces of content. This week, I've had a bunch of people interacting on my two-step posts that weren't even my friends. They're commenting, they're asking for help, they're asking for different things or aspects in business, and we're not friends because they're following me. They click that follow button. So that's going to be one of the main things, is making sure you have that button activated. Have your business optimized. Have your business optimized as we went over a couple weeks ago, leveraging the strategy to explode your Facebook group, because you want to grow that group. You want to use this traffic in my opinion, you want to use this Reels traffic to explode your own community, especially because a lot of the people coming in from the Reels are going to be cold. So you can use your community, and if you have videos or trainings, you can use those to nurture them extremely quickly. It's building your email list, turned into sales, and generated a bunch of different combos, literally just repurposing content that I've already created. If you're not already creating TikToks, then start and then post them on Facebook. So my content strategy on TikTok has changed because I want to be better on Facebook. And if you do want to do a video that's longer than 30 seconds, just make sure that you can do it in 2 parts. You can do part 1, part 2, respond to a comment inside of the initial video, keep them like tied together. So this is just a couple examples, just like the amount of views on these videos are mind blowing, right? Like back to back, like 300,000 views, 800,000, 800,000. And then like, so almost every video is like at the lowest, like 3,000 views. You don't have to worry about hashtags. You don't have to worry about putting search terms or anything like that. Like this training video is probably going to be pretty basic because it's literally not that advanced. I'm literally just putting a related phrase to the video and I'm just posting it to Facebook, and that's it. Obviously there's deeper layers to it because inside of my content, there's other things that we can discuss, obviously, if you guys have questions. But as far as like the actual strategy behind it, you don't have to put hashtags or anything like that. You don't have to put anything really. One of the biggest metrics is comments. So if you can prompt people to comment, it's the reach and they'll blow up. You'll get a ton of people and they'll start stringing comments. Can be a lot of negativity depending on what you are posting. So be aware of that, because as I did mention in the beginning, you will be reaching a completely different people that are outside of the space that we're playing in. So what to expect? It's not as instantaneous as TikTok. So on TikTok, you post a video, it'll start going viral fairly quickly. You'll know right away whether that video is going to get a lot of reach. Facebook seems to be a little bit different. It's prolonged. I have videos that I posted a couple weeks ago or a month ago that are still just growing in traffic, and they start picking up, and it's like the snowball effect, especially if people keep commenting on them, or if you can get them to keep commenting. So I highly recommend prompting for comments. But I guess I should also rewind a little bit, is if you're doing this, make sure you have your profile set up right, your Facebook profile set up correctly, and you have the opportunity to jump in your group, because that's what I'm all about. Eventually you'll get your group growing by itself. But I think utilizing the Reels has probably grown my group by 500 members in the last 2 weeks. I think this week alone, it was like 296 members. So you will likely get a ton of trolls, especially if you're in MySpace and not like Tom's MySpace, Make Money Online space. I've had a massive influx of people who troll your comments, pyramid schemes, all this type of stuff. So just know that you will probably get a ton of that. Prepping at content styles and mapping out strategy. So for either TikTok or Facebook, I'm going to recommend finding multiple series of content that you can create. This is going to take some testing on your part, finding ones that perform better / get more views compared to the average on your profile. I'm going to highly recommend that you do it, but it has been amazing for growth on both of the platforms. I actually just started leveraging this type of strategy, which is basically testing different types of content until I found a style that worked, and then I would just continue to do that. And then I did this until I found like 5 different types of content that I wanted to do, and I just repeat this exact same process. I do those same types of videos in an actual rotation, and I do it over and over again. So these are the ones that I'm using right now. I'm using the first one would be a trend, so jumping on a trending video, relating it to my business and what I'm doing. The next one would be a skit, so talking back and forth, about what I'm doing, things that are going on in my business, things that are actually happening. And I highly recommend that. Is if you have things and you're talking to people and you guys are having conversations with people, use that type of stuff to fuel your content. So like a lot of these skits that you might have seen me do or might haven't seen me do, a lot of the conversations, they've actually happened. They're like, where a couple weeks, I was talking to somebody, I was on a call with them, and they told me they didn't want to invest into a training because I told them I made $1,000 in 9 days, and they said that was too long. So I turned that into a video. But then he ended up reaching back out. Did you create this video about me? And I was like, yeah, but that was a complete ramble. But definitely utilize the stuff that's going on in your business for content, because in reality, if people are having conversations with you, they're giving you objections. A lot of people are also feeling the same way. And then the other series that I'm doing is fake side hustle videos. So I'm throwing stones at the fake side hustle videos that are on TikTok. They're talking about all this other stuff, how you can make $600 an hour typing or whatever. And then a real side hustle video. So like talking about different side hustles outside of the space that I'm in. And then a response. So responding to a comment, answering a question, something like that. So this more than welcome to try. If you want to go and try this exact rotation or do something like this, you're more than welcome to it. but it might not work. And I'm only saying that because I tested these on my actual own profile. I went and put out videos to see what types of content was performing better for me. And then I just did more of what was working, right? Okay, this worked well, so I'm going to do more of that. So that's what I would recommend is if you're creating the short form videos, throw some stuff at the wall, get an idea of a specific type of content or a subject that you want to talk about, and change up the content style on that specific topic. And then once it works, then you do more content of that and turn that into a series. And then you can do that multiple times. And I did that until I found like 5 different series that I wanted to do. So then that becomes my whole couple days worth of content, is just going through this entire cycle of content. So keep in mind, if you're utilizing Reels to grow your profile reach, exposure to your content, and grow your group, it can work really well, but the audience is going to be extremely cold. A lot of them are not even going to be like solution or problem aware. You're going to have a lot of people who are asking, what is affiliate marketing? What do you do to make money online? So I would highly recommend that if you are going to go all in with Reels, which I highly recommend that you do, creating a static training. Create a training in your group, maybe a bare bones basic training talking about what is affiliate marketing, how it works, what is the business model. So that way you're not spending 10,000 hours inside of Facebook Messenger explaining what you do and what your business model is and how you make money. You can just simply respond to them and tell them, hey, I'd be more than happy to tell you more about it. Jump into my group and I'll tag you into training. Save yourself a bunch of time. So that a lot of them are going to be very cold. So keep in mind, it also is, you have to nurture them. You need to be very aggressive with nurturing. It's not necessarily you're going to get a massive influx of these group members and you're going to get a bunch of followers on your profile. Those aren't all going to turn into high ticket sales like right away. You're going to need to build and establish a relationship, especially because a lot of them don't even know what you're doing. So yeah, I already touched on that. And as you're posting, so be sure to check your message requests in your spam folders. The majority of the messages that I've been getting from people responding to my reels and stuff like that, you need to make sure that you're checking your spam and your message requests, because that's where the majority of those messages are going to pop up. And then be hyper aggressive with getting people into your ecosystem. So I would basically just don't even skirt around anything. The majority of the time when people were reaching out to me, this is exactly what I would tell them. If you're looking to get more info on getting started, I would check out my group here for more info. And I would literally just send them a direct link to my group. I'm not spending 25 minutes or even 5 minutes like telling them about what I do or business model. I want to get them in my community, and then I can tag them on a training, or then we can have a conversation. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time out of my day to respond to all these conversations, especially if they're really cold. Save your headache. Yeah, so that way you can get them in, kickstart the nurturing process, and you can cherry pick the ones that are a good fit or the ones who are responsive to the stuff inside of your group. So that way you're doing it that way, you're getting them into your ecosystem, you're getting them into your group, and then you have the ability to cherry pick the ones that are actually getting into your community, they're commenting on your posts, they're actually doing something, right? Versus the people that are jumping into your inbox and they just want and ask you a couple questions. What do you do? How do you make money online? When they don't really care, they're just curious. So making sure that you're being aggressive so you can defend your own self and your own time. And then obviously as they're in your community and they're interacting on stuff, you can choose who you want to reach out to or utilize the outreach script that we talked about last week when they join your group. And then if you have your membership questions set up, you can actually set them up in a way that if they're where they're at, get a gauge where they're at, whether they're like completely green to marketing, whether they've been struggling. It just gives you different dynamics for going into the conversations. So I know that was probably like very quick. So definitely if you guys have questions or anything like that, I can't show you videos because I can't connect to my phone. So different types of videos that have been working really well. Humor, like joke, like I've been stitching certain things. If this isn't your style, that's okay. Inappropriate humor, I guess that would be I live on the line of between like offensive and inappropriate humor. So it doesn't show in my content very much, but those types of videos have been working really well. I saw Thaddeus actually did one where like the bull was hitting the guy in the face with the door and then tying them into business. Other ones are like just basically the skits where you're like talking about conversations that are going on in your business or in your life in general, like what is affiliate marketing, or if you're I think one that went really viral was, if you're so successful, why don't you give everything away for free? And then I talked about free resources and why nobody ever does anything with them. So test different things. That's so generic. Another thing you could do in your actual content, like in your videos, you could say, join my group. You can have a call to action that says, join my Facebook group. So that way they're going to follow you or go to your profile. They could jump into your community, or you could even just comment on the post. Like I've done that a couple of times where if I post a reel, I'll literally just make a comment on my own reel and put, if you guys want to learn how to make money online, jump into my Facebook group here. and I'll just tag my own group so they can just click directly in the reel and join my Facebook group. So you could try that as well. I would say definitely the translation between followers and group members, you're obviously going to get a lot more followers. I think I went from, I would probably say 1,200 followers to 8,000 right now. I think I have 8,000 followers on my Facebook profile, but I've probably only grew my group by, I don't know, maybe 600 or 700 members since starting to leverage Facebook Reels, which is pretty good. That's a lot, but definitely a lot more followers. So the cool part about it is you'll start getting more reach on your post on your profile. So I put out a couple lead gen posts, just seeing what was happening, because I started posting a lot of these reels, and then like back-to-back lead gen content posts, getting hundreds of comments on them, which is usually quite a lot for my audience as of right now. So that's one of the coolest parts about it, is because you're going to start getting different dynamics of exposure to your content. It's going to be people outside of your friends list. Like when you put out a post on your profile, it's going to reach people. I only have 3,200 friends right now. It's still going to reach the people in this audience, not just your friends list. So that's the coolest dynamic about it, in my opinion. That's a whole different approach to Facebook. So having personality in it, I feel like, is super important. And you can definitely see quick wins on TikTok and any other short form platform. If you're already doing TikToks, you can repurpose them on multiple platforms: Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and now Facebook. And you can get lots of viral traffic on there. It's faster than anything else, really. Can also be less consistent. It's a little more sporadic. But yeah, when it comes to content, I would just recommend obviously keeping it related to business, tying it to whatever you're doing, or like whatever products you're selling, but also don't be afraid to just be yourself. That's the beauty of building a personal brand or doing anything in this space in general, in the online space, is you're building an audience of people that are interested in you. I would just recommend in anything that you do, don't be afraid. That's the cool part about all of this, right? Is you can post pictures in your onesies. And if that's your style, that's something I wish I would have did a lot sooner in my business, because I was all business, none of my personality, which is just something I started leveraging into my content even just a couple months ago. But that's also awesome that you started jumping on TikTok and you've been getting some good feedback. You will get a lot of, in the beginning of a TikTok profile, you usually get a lot more reach right when you start. So like as soon as you start a profile and you start posting content, you'll usually get a lot more views on your videos, because TikTok's going to try to figure out who your audience is, what types of audience your video is for, finding something different, something that's more of you. That's something that you want to do, something that you could create content on. You could create multiple series or multiple videos of content on, and then finding a couple different categories or a couple different types of things that you want to do this subject on, or types of actual pieces of content or different series that you want, and then just turning that into just a repeatable process, right? Just doing it over and over again. And that's when I started to do that myself. That's when all of it started to grow, right? Like I really struggled to grow on TikTok for a really long time. I was posting content all of the time, 4 times daily for a year, and then sometimes more on other profiles. But once I dialed in like an actual framework for the type of content I wanted to be posting and the actual like a series, and then getting multiple of them, is when my audience started to grow on TikTok. But then it also exploded on Facebook, because then I was doing the same type of series and people would start looking out for the same type of videos. You can't necessarily create the cover photos on Facebook like you can TikTok. So if you are doing series on TikTok, I would recommend making them different based on what series you're doing. But at this point, for me, the only reason I'm even really creating TikToks is to be able to repurpose them on Facebook Reels. I could care less if they grow on TikTok or not, because I'm getting a ton of exposure on Facebook, which is generating massive amounts of conversations, group requests, and stuff like that. I would create an asset that the people that join your group, or even pinning a post on your Facebook profile, you could even try that. Putting a pin post up, talking about yourself, what you do, what you're about. So that way you can save yourself some time in Messenger. When you have these people interacting or reaching out, asking you to explain what you do in your online business, or how they can do it too, you can tag them in a post and let them know, hey, read this, watch this video. After you've had a chance to check it out, then we can have a chat. Just save yourself the time and a headache, because that's the worst, is when I guess there's two sides of the coin, right? You get all this exposure, you grow and you get all this, but then it also comes with tons of messages and where your time could be used more effectively elsewhere. So that's pretty much it for the Reels. Alrighty. I appreciate everybody jumping on, and
Thank you.
I'll see you guys next week.
Good night, everyone.